Hey, Marisa here in New Orleans for the 5th edition of the Emotional Marketing Series. And we are at my very favorite emotional market, which is self-identity. All of the Live Your Message brands are about self-identity. I mean, be the superhero to your tribe, live your message. I know you're from the internet. It's all about self-identity. And I don't know of any other New Orleans business that represents self-identity better than Kermit's Tremé Mother-in-Law Lounge, which used to be Ernie K-Doe's Mother-in-Law Lounge. And the reason this is all about self-identity is because people from New Orleans have a self-identification of being from New Orleans, and it really is home. I remember years ago in high school, I was in a bar like before Mardi Gras, and I was saying, if you could be anywhere in the world for Mardi Gras, if you could be in Trinidad, if you could be in Tobago, if you could be in Brazil, where would you go? And all of them just looked at me like, girlfriend, you ain't knowing what you're talking about, baby, because we want to be in New Orleans. We don't care about all those fancy places all over the world. We just want to be in New Orleans. And there's nowhere in the world with a culture like New Orleans. Nowhere in the country, nowhere in the world. And so the really cool thing about Kermit's Tremé Mother-in-Law Lounge is it used to be Ernie K-Doe's Mother-in-Law Lounge. And this here is Ernie K-Doe. And his famous song was Here Comes the Girls, which was the #1 on the Billboard charts, both the regular charts and the R&B charts, for a long time. And he created this joint, and it's been around for like 30, 40 years or something, people playing all kinds of music. And it was here for a long time, and then it got kind of destroyed by Katrina, and then rebuilt by the musician Usher, believe it or not. And then K-Doe's widow, Antoinette K-Doe, took it over. And then when she died, Kermit Ruffins took it over. And Kermit Ruffins is a New Orleans character. But let me just show you some of the self-identifications of what it means to be from New Orleans and what New Orleans people think of this city and our contribution to jazz, to music, to culture, to food, to all that. So looking at this trim here, it says, I'm not sure, but I'm almost positive that all music came from New Orleans. You know, we're so self-identified with the music of New Orleans that we believe that all music descended from New Orleans. There ain't nothing else. And so there's the original Ernie K-Doe Mother-in-Law Lounge. And as you can see, there's a lot of personality and a lot of soul because, you know, if you're from New Orleans, and Ernie K-Doe was known as a really like character, an eccentric in this particular city. So you've got all of the different, you know, murals. This here is Kermit Ruffins, who currently owns this. You can see Teenage Antoinette, You Can't Break Her Yet. All kinds of things. T-Ta-Ta-Ta, which was also a song by Ernie K-Doe. And you can see here, I'm cocky, but I'm good. So Ernie K-Doe was known for being on the radio here, New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Station WWOZ, for his explosive announcements and blatant self-promotion. But he would just refer to himself like, I'm cocky, but I'm good. He would just say I'm good. And so because he said I'm good, everybody believed that he's good. Because he had that self-identification of being a total badass, so much so that he actually named himself the Emperor of the Universe. And he went around in a crown and a cape. And that's him, Ernie K-Doe, and his wife, Antoinette K-Doe. And so he said, I am the Emperor of the Universe. And for a little while, he dubbed himself Mr. Naugahyde. And Naugahyde's a fake leather. And then the Naugahyde company said, cease and desist, dude. You cannot use our name. And he said, actually, I was calling myself Mr. Menaugahyde. And so he completely changed the name so they couldn't tell him what to do. And he's like, you know what? I'm a badass. You ain't gonna tell me what to do because I'm the Emperor of the Universe. So here's the thing about self-identity, is that you can self-identify as whatever you want to self-identify as long as you own it and as long as you claim it. And as long as energetically you're like, yes, that is who I am, people will believe you. Whether you claim that you're the Emperor of the Universe, whether you claim that you're so cocky but you're good, whatever it happens to be, you claim and you choose your particular flavor of self-identification. It's like, what flavor of vanilla are you, right? You choose that particular flavor. And I love this emotional market because it allows other people who identify in the same way that you identify to have that tribal affiliation. And because you self-identify that way, they're like, yeah, I want to follow the guy who calls himself the Emperor of the Universe. I want to follow Live Your Message because I believe in living my message. I want to follow Harley Davidson, who's also a self-identity brand, because I'm all about the freedom of the open road. So it's kind of a tribal affiliation that's like a bat light signaling to other people who have the same tribal affiliation that this is who I am, and if you're like me, come follow me, because together we're gonna get along. So what I love about this place is it's such a collection of New Orleans trivia, and it's gone through Katrina. It had 5.5 feet of hurricane water in here, and then they refurbished it and made it what it is today, and now it's changed ownership and changed again. But even though Kermit, you know, that trumpetist over there, even though he now owns it, he still has this legacy and this tribute and this shrine to the late great R&B singer Ernie K-Doe, because Ernie K-Doe was a true New Orleans musician, and that's respect. You know, there's a lot of respect for music here, there's a lot of respect for tradition and roots, and there's such a self-identification of being from New Orleans. And I gotta say, when I moved here in the middle of my 8th grade, it just changed my life and really contributed to making me who I am, where I realized that I could self-identify as more than what I was born into, self-identify as more than what was quote unquote appropriate by my family, because my mom, being from Thailand, tell me to be modest and to be quiet, and children should be seen and not heard. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be heard. And that helped me create a much bigger, bolder brand, Live Your Message. So I'm curious, if self-identity is your emotional market, what do you identify as? What is your bat light into the world? What do you want to be known for? How can you signal to other people like you that you stand for more than business, you stand for more than what you sell, that you got a heart that pounds, and you're about a whole lot more. You know, we got a saying here in New Orleans, do what you wanna, and self-identity is all about doing what you wanna, and no matter who you are and what you wanna do, there's someone in the world who is gonna resonate with that, and they're gonna what you wanna just the way that you what you wanna, all right? So go out there, live your message, and I'm gonna go have some fun. I'm gonna eat me some barbecue, I'm gonna dance to some Kermit Ruffins and the Barbecue Swingers. All right, later.
Your feet, see the monks set your world on fire. Come to my head now, head now. Like a stick, Jockey Movino,